Welcome back to the Coffee Bar with your favorite bartender, A5 Cup of Coffee. And we are back again with another sipping. I guess this is called an overview. It's not really a review. But we're going to go over what happened in The Boys Season 2, Episode 4. A lot of crazy WTF moments, a lot of crazy whoa moments, and we're going to go ahead and discuss most of them here. And y'all hit me up in the comments. Let me know if I missed anything. And also, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe for your boy. I know it's just a little button, but it definitely helps me out when you all subscribe and comment. So appreciate you in advance. So let's get down to it. The Boys Season 2, Episode 4. And for me, it did not disappoint at all. We got a lot of backstory on what's going on. Some of the things that we didn't know before. And like I said, a whole bunch of WTF moments. So let's start off with the beginning. So you see Homelander land, and he goes into this wooded house, and you know, once he goes into this little wooded house, you see Stillwell, and you're just kind of taken aback, like, wait a minute, is he dreaming? What's going on here? And flash forward, what you find out is, he's interacting with an actual person, and then you find out it's doppelganger. And it's absolutely gross because he can't help but to change back into himself. And Homelander gets upset and he's like, dude, change back. And so he changed back to Stillwell and basically pets Homelander's ego because, you know, Homelander is all about ego. So, you know, it's just, it's just a mess in any case. So, you have that, and then you have Butcher. Meanwhile, he goes to meet his contact, which is who used to be the head of the CIA, and she basically gives him Becca's location because, of course, at this point he knows she's alive, and you know, they are at the memorial for the people who died while Stormfront decided to thrash everybody in the building and not just the super terrorists or whatnot. So all this is happening, and you know, he gets the location of Becca. She lets him know, hey, it's at a compound and it's armed to the teeth. Meanwhile, she also gives him a packet and tells him to find out some information on a superhero named Liberty, which will actually come back and actually come full circle for us at the end of the episode. So he goes back to their headquarters, the boys' headquarters is what I call it. And he basically lets Mother's Milk know, hey, you know what? I'm shooting the deuces. I'm going to find Becca. You guys go find out about Liberty, and hey, good luck with that. And so Mother's Milk, you know, he takes the mission, and Butcher basically passes leadership on to Mother's Milk. Butcher actually, you have these three different things going on at the same time, which I love about the boys because they are able to knit several stories interacting at the same time, and it doesn't feel like a mess. So basically, I'm just going to cover the four main things that are going on in order, and then we're going to circle back around at the end. So Mother's Milk and Huey actually go on their Liberty search, and then you have Butcher, who actually does end up finding Becca. They actually make a plan. You know, they make a plan, and they get some good loving going on in the meantime, because of course they haven't seen each other in years. And basically, they make a plan for her son Ryan, and him to go ahead and get out through the garbage truck. Toward the end of the episode, though, Becca backs out because she feels like Butcher's never going to accept her son. And, you know, of course, you know, her son happened in some interesting circumstances, but she feels like he's never going to accept her son, so she can't leave him, so she decides not to go with Butcher toward the end. So that leaves Butcher in an awkward position, and he is just, I honestly feel like that was his breaking point. I don't know where he's going to go from here. More than likely, more so to the dark side. He's already pretty brutal now, and I can only imagine what this did to him, because Becca decisively didn't come to him. And then she even told him, hey, when I found out that I was pregnant, I didn't come to you. I went to Vault for help because I know what you're all about. You're all about vengeance. You're all about violence, and I just can't be a part of it at this point. So it kind of sucks. No happy ending there for him. So moving forward, we're gonna cover Black Noir because he has a small thing going on here. And Black Noir is actually trying to figure out where Butcher is, and he silently tells one of the people at Vault, hey, basically find Butcher for me. And toward the end of the episode, Black Noir and the lady that's helping him actually see him on camera at the compound where Becca is. And he basically doesn't care if he's seen it. He flips him the bird because he's just like, there's, at this point I feel like he feels like there's nothing for him. So on to actually, we're gonna cover Frenchie and the female. So the female, aka Kimiko. So of course she's still grieving about her brother, and she is completely pissed off about what happened to her brother and the part Stormfront played in it. So she actually goes to a rally, and Frenchie stops her from actually confronting Stormfront because he knows she won't make it out alive, and of course he cares about her on some level. But Frenchie, he's been busy kind of getting high, and he kind of comes on to her while she's grieving, which I honestly feel like that wasn't the best thing to do. That's a little stepping over the line or whatnot, and she kind of almost chokes him out, but she lets him go. Of course she's super strong. She lets him go, but she basically lets him know, without talking, hey, you overstepped your boundaries. And I think in the next episode we're gonna find out a little bit more about Frenchie, because in this episode we found out a little bit more about Mother's Milk. So that being stated, we're gonna hit Homelander. Homelander is on a warpath. He's upset because he feels like Stormfront is taking his place. He is livid about it, and so he confronts pretty much everybody on the 7. He first of all he almost puts Starlight's lights out. He basically confronts her in the elevator and is like, I know you're with Huey, this, that, and the other. And she actually convinces him that he's not, but he like has his hand like right beneath her rib, like he doesn't care. He's basically gonna kill her on the elevator. But she convinces him that she's not with Huey, and he basically leaves her in the elevator, basically afraid for her life. So even though she did convince him, she is still like terrified. So she actually goes and meets Huey, and Huey and Mother Milk go to find out about this Liberty superhero. So they're on their quest. Next, Homelander confronts A-Train, and hey, A-Train has to get off on this stop because Homelander is aware that hey, you can't run. Every time you run, he's aware that hey, his heart starts hurting. So he basically gives him the boot in the caboose. Okay, that was a terrible joke. But A-Train gets the boot from the 7, and he is upset and he is livid. And he takes it out on the assistant, but Homelander's like, he's like nonchalant. He's like, dude, like you're not even top 20 superheroes because you can't run. So what do you want me to do? You're making the 7 look bad. So he boots him. Then he goes and he confronts. He actually they were on the talk show. Him and Queen Maeve were on the talk show, and he basically outs her for being gay because the host actually asked, hey, you know what? Why is there no diversity? Why are all the superheroes, if they're being made, because of course everybody knows about Compound B at this point, like if everybody's being made, why is there no diversity? Why is everything pro-white? And Homelander goes the route of saying, hey, you know what? A-Train is a black guy, Black Noir. He doesn't identify because at this point we don't know what Black Noir is in the show. And then he goes on to say, hey, we even have a gay person on the team, and he outs Queen Maeve, which we all know at this point, she does have feelings for Elena, and she's trying to protect her by not saying, she loves him. So when they get off the talk show, Homelander basically is like, I want you to be happy, and you know, I freed you all. Now y'all don't have to be in the shadows. Y'all are. It must feel good to be in the the light of day and all of this stuff. But he says it in such a condescending manner. I honestly don't know if Elena is safe because Homelander is a bit of a psychopath. So I don't know if she's safe or not. I hope she is. But yeah, you know, she's actually a character for the show. She wasn't really in the comics, so I'm really hoping that she made it. She's okay. I'm really, for Queen Maeve's sake, or I feel like Maeve already drinks because of, you know, she can't be with the person she loves at this point. So I can only imagine what it'd do to her if something happened because Homelander found out. He basically overheard them talking, and yeah, he's on the warpath, so it's all bad. So while all of that is going on, Homelander is basically being driven nuts because Stormfront is basically, she's basically using the social media to say, hey, you know what, Vought isn't doing anything about the people who died, even though she's the cause. And she is running circles around Homelander. So Homelander actually confronts her next. And it's actually a pretty cool scene. It's pretty tense because at this point you see that Stormfront has this I don't care about anything type of attitude. And she, when Homelander confronts her, he's like, everybody on the poll still like me better, this, that, and the other. And she's like, yay, so what? And so Homelander, like, his eyes start to glow, and she does know the power scale. She knows that even though she's powerful, she's not as strong as him. So she kind of backs up a little bit, and she's like, hey, you know what? I'm just trying to show you a better way to get the crowd. And she's basically letting them know, hey, you have fans, but I have soldiers that are willing to do anything for me. So would you rather have 50 million fans or 5 million soldiers that are willing to do anything? Because basically she plays on everybody's emotions. And here's the thing with Stormfront. I'm going to address what I think about her in a second and how I feel like it compares to our current state in America in a second. I think it's kind of hinting toward that. But give me a second on that because we got to hit Mother's Milk. And so Mother's Milk and Huey and Starlight actually go on their mission to find out who Liberty is. And Starlight and Mother's Milk actually have a little bit of a moment where they both identify with each other because both of their fathers passed away, unfortunately. And we actually get a backstory on Mother's Milk on why he takes this so seriously as far as taking down the superheroes. And it's because Vought killed his dad, long story short. He was a lawyer, he was standing up to them, and they wasn't having it. So you find out that Vought killed his dad, and he's inherited that vengeance type thing. So now we know, Huey, Butcher, and him all, are on this kind of the same level where, they're taking this. The Butcher kind of taking advantage of them because they've lost someone too, and they're kind of pretty much his soldiers because of that. So he explains this to this young, not young lady, this older lady. Actually, she's from a different world, but in any case, she is the one. They think that she's Liberty, or she knows who Liberty is, and she's like, no, Liberty actually came and killed my brother. And you find out that it was racially charged. She basically pulled her brother out of the car while they were driving one night, and she gives him one heck of a blow. Of course, she's superpowered, and you see his face is just mangled, and he just dies out there on the car. And upon finding this out, Mother's Milk is like, I know this might be scary, but this Liberty person has to be dead. This happened, some decades ago. And come to find out, she's like, no, I signed some paperwork. We took the money. And, if she found out that I said anything to you all, she'll kill me. And you find out that Liberty is actually Stormfront, which is actually a pretty cool revelation for those who read the comics, and I want to let you all know why. In the comics, Stormfront is, of course, a guy, but he is actually the beta version of Homelander. And they bring him back as a repackaged superhero, just like they're doing Stormfront here. And it's because he was actually an original test for Nazis. And I think they're trying to make this a little bit more about the time. So because of the way Stormfront acts, I believe she's more so, instead of, you know, an actual Nazi per se, she is more so of a white supremacist. And she plays off the emotions of, I feel like she plays off the emotions of other white supremacists. And that's why she feels like, hey, I have 5 million soldiers ready to do anything. Because as you can see in the building, she just had a complete disliking for African Americans. I mean, they weren't even in her way, and she was killing them. And of course, this is what happened to the lady's brother in this story here. And I think she has just come up on the times where she knows social media is a big thing, and she's taking advantage of that. And it's kind of how, you know, how America does work. It plays off of, you know, the news, social media, things of that nature can really play off of people's emotions. And Stormfront has perfected that to the T, and it makes her dangerous not only to Homelander. Homelander sees the threat, but also to the other heroes, especially if she wanted to mount an attack on them. I mean, her soldiers are everywhere. She is social media famous, so it's actually pretty cool. Now, the very end. It is a very crazy scene. I am not going to talk about the very end, you guys. It is nuts. Please go watch it. It is crazy at the end with the scene with Doppelganger and Homelander. And it's just a crazy scene. I'd rather not talk about it on my channel. Like I said, it's nuts. But it is an interesting ending to the episode. I mean, it's not even any music at the end. It's just dead silence after everything happens. But end of the story, you got Homelander on the rampage because, you know, Stormfront's trying to sway him over, but he's at this point where he doesn't need any, or he feels like he doesn't need anybody. He feels like he's always being lied to. And I feel like he's even lying to himself at this point. The rest of the 7 are completely afraid of him at this point. If they weren't before, they definitely are now. And you got Starlight, and we got Huey, who Starlight just is like, hey, you know what? This isn't gonna work. We can't be together. Long story short. And you got a little bit more backstory from Mother's Milk. So definitely a wonderful episode. I can't wait till next Friday to see what happens. You all let me know if I missed anything. Comment, like, share. Let me know what's going on. You all go and check out my other video. This is called The Dark Side. And y'all might be wondering why I'm drinking this with the boys. Check this out. Little nerd fun fact. Actually, DC, aka, or at the time Wildstorm, actually owned the boys. The writer actually was working for them. And because it got so dark, they actually cut it short. So it actually went to another producer, another comic producer, Dynamite, as a matter of fact. And that's how they finished off the graphic novel of The Boys. So DC actually did have it, and that's my little nerd fact. So there you go. Guys, remember, like, share, subscribe, and please, please, please remember to drink more coffee. Bye.